Welcome to Take a Wonder's Sheds. Now my guest today is Kyle Biskit. Throughout my discussion with Kyle, I spoke to him about his business TSL Rentals and asked him why he started this business, as he provides luxury accommodations at some of the most exclusive properties throughout Southern California. So let's take a look. Kyle, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing great. Thank you very much. So just for people who don't know who you are, just explain a little bit about yourself.
I'm pretty much a solo entrepreneur from Detroit, Michigan. Moved out to LA, a couple years ago, and I built a business in the travel industry.
Awesome. We'll come on to your work, your business slightly later. But first question I always ask everyone is how you fell in love with travel. So for you, how did it all begin?
Well, I kind of like to experience different things. So what I did was I went out to Las Vegas and I on vacation, and I started traveling from Las Vegas to LA, and I really kind of just extended my vacation for 2 years. I was staying in hotels and 4 and 5 star hotels for 2 years, and I learned the travel business and I learned the hospitality industry that way. So that's kind of how I started really liking traveling, different what we call fly places and stuff to stay. So that's kind of how I got into it.
So there's nothing really early on in your sort of childhood where you were taken by your parents abroad or anything like that. So it was recent we're talking about here where you fell in love with it.
So it's definitely recent. Recently, we did little travels here and there, mostly regional, but this type of travel was actually in my adulthood.
We'll come on to your business itself. So for people who don't know what it is, tell us what it's about and how did it all begin?
So TSL Rentals, and really TSL, it stands for Top Shelf Lifestyle. So I'm pretty much promoting a lifestyle. What I kind of want to do was, when I was staying in these hotels and stuff, I was like, okay, this is a lifestyle I'm living, and I want to market this lifestyle to other people so they can see what I see and enjoy it, enjoy the same stuff that I enjoy. So I kind of put it that way, and what I'm really doing is marketing my lifestyle to people. So when people book my places, it's like you're getting a piece of me. These are my places. I stay in all of my places, and usually I'm focused on luxury and and good experiences. So that's pretty much, that kind of sums that up right there.
So your target audience, as you just said, the luxury. So you're targeting people looking for a luxury lifestyle away from what they probably do live.
Exactly. Or if they do live it, they could just experience it elsewhere in a different way, But yeah, basically, that's pretty much something.
You've stayed in these places yourself. Are these yours? You've actually bought these, or are these all rentals that you've got and you rent it out to people, a bit like Airbnb?
I have different acquisition process for each property. I do it according to the property. So it depends on, I might do a master lease on some of the properties. Some of them I might do, a land contract or work some out with the owner, or some of I do buy. It just depends on the property and what makes sense. And for me, but the goal is to create residual income and increase my residual income. So even if I do a master lease and I'm paying this amount of money, I'm trying to make, maybe double that or more by doing we call rental arbitrage, short-term rentals. Through Airbnb, but I usually do other ways to market as well. I don't try to rely on Airbnb for marketing.
Exactly. What year did you start?
Officially started in 2016, July. That's when I formed my company. So yeah, that's pretty much when I actually created my LLC, and I kind of was playing around with it a little bit before that, maybe up to a year before that, I was kind of playing with it. But in 2016, that's when I kind of was like, okay, let me start, doing this a little more serious.
How has the business gone for you over the last 5 years?
It's been good. I'm passionate about it, so that's the only reason I've been able to sustain in it, because it's a lot of ups and downs in it. And the only way you can get through that is if you're passionate, because if not, it's so many roadblocks that you got to break through that. You got to have passion. Period. So,
how have you coped during the pandemic then? How did your business cope?
It took a huge hit. And it was a big mental thing for me too, that I had to push through, because, it was an unprecedented thing that, you can't see coming. So when it first came out, I didn't know what to think. So All I know is I lost a lot of money. People were traveling from international. I had guests coming internationally that were canceling. I lost like tons of money, and I almost wound the business. I got like pretty close to wound the business. And I told myself, if I could just sustain, I'll be appreciative of it. If I don't make it through this, then I did everything I could. But if I can at least sustain, I'll be appreciative of that. So really, what happened was after I was able to get my bearings back under me, I made it through it, and I actually grew my business during the pandemic. So once I got through that initial phase of what I was going through as far as like losing all the money and losing all the travel, I actually retargeted from international and domestic travel to just regional travel. And people were cooped up in their houses, and around June, or so, people started really wanting to get out their house, and they were coming and spending money. They want to stay by the beach and everything. So I made I did pretty well, and I actually picked up new properties during that time too.
That's extraordinary because during the pandemic, I've heard a lot of businesses, travel business, go under big time. And
yeah, I know. I didn't mean to interrupt. I got friends who were in the business, built multi-million-dollar businesses, and they unfortunately it was got a little rough. So some of them didn't make it through it. So I'm blessed to have made it sustained through that.
I guess what you've done, the hard work that you put in, I guess you would have had a foundation in terms of your business to survive a tsunami, really, where you don't know whether you were coming or going, and for you to come out of it is extraordinary, and I applaud you for doing so. And I assume, as you're saying, though, potentially, this is your livelihood you've had for the last 4 years, and then bang, something like this happens. Has it made you into a more resilient individual? You think it's all right, I can get through anything in life now, just outside of work and business anyway.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it adds to your character. But like I said, I've been through a lot of stuff, even in building my business from having no money and having really nothing to start with and building it to what I built it to. I've been through a lot of stuff. So I was kind of, in a way, seasoned, but I wasn't seasoned in the fact of it's a situation where it's unprecedented, where it's never happened before, and nobody knows what to think or do. Everybody's panicking. So that to me was new, but as far as going up against roadblocks, that wasn't new to me. But yes, it definitely gave me a degree of added to a degree of confidence that I have been building over the years of building this business up. Just being an entrepreneur, trying to make it in life, and trying to basically make something from nothing. So yeah.
Where are these places where people can stay? Are they all over the United States, or do you have it in like certain blocks in the United States itself?
Right now, most of my properties are in Southern California.
Okay.
Like I have one property in Detroit as well, where I'm from. And I have I have a lot of properties along the coast. Like we got Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, South Bay, Venice, Playa del Rey. Then you go all the way out to Malibu. I got properties in Malibu. You come back inland, and I got properties in like downtown. And I got property in Hollywood, West Hollywood Hills. So that's pretty much where the bulk of my properties are. And in San Diego too, which is about 2 hours from LA. So those are where most of my properties are at right now.
How competitive are you in terms of pricing wise? I assume there are other businesses very similar to you. So how competitive are you with your pricing?
I try to stay competitive. Like, for instance, when we just talk about the pandemic, I mean, during that time, it was pretty much a race to the bottom. So I had to, bite the bullet and humble myself and take rates that I knew that was just were way less than what the properties were worth, just to mitigate loss. So I pretty much pay attention to pricing. I use a third party pricing software that curates my prices with the demand, not the demand for next week or this week, the demand that right now. So it might change every day. My prices fluctuate. So and I also pay attention. I have my operation manager paying attention and to what's going on with the prices, so we can be competitive and stay booked. Because I mean, it's real estate. So at the end of the day, so your prices with sales. You can have the greatest property ever, but if you price out of the market, it's not going to sell and it's not going to book. So
competitors, I'm assuming you've got quite a lot of competitors about there. What makes you different, I guess? Is it yourself?
Yeah, I think it's me in the sense of like I bring a different flavor to the business. I'm not just like the normal, I guess cookie cutter, whatever person. I'm kind of like I'm kind of myself, and I bring. I'm real big on style and what we call what you call swag and flavor and stuff. So I kind of bring my energy to the business, and really the business Top Shelf Lifestyle TSL is a reflection of me. So that's kind of what I bring to separate myself um, from some of my competitors who probably have venture capitalists and all kind of stuff that I don't have.
Do you have any other funding coming through? Do you have sponsors? I assume you work with quite a lot of different companies, or is it just mainly your income revenue comes from people renting it out?
Pretty much all me. I pretty much built it from all me, no investors, no partners.
Investors. I mean, would you like that though? Would that put a bit of pressure off you if you can get someone? I guess on your website you could have more sponsors and whatnot. Would that be a goal of yours?
I mean, of course, I'll be open to sponsorship. As far as investors, I'll be open to that depending on what I've had people want to come and invest, but a lot of times they want too much stake in the company or something like that. So it depends on what they want because I'm really big on ownership, but I also know that it's only so much I can do on my own. To where I would have to kind of like if I want to scale to a different level, I would have to kind of eventually get people in on what I'm doing to own stakes or shares or whatever. So
What would be your goal? What is your ambition now going forward?
tapping into new markets and trying different stuff. I'm probably gonna tap into a few different markets. Even some are international. So and kind of seeing where that goes. I'm not really like I'm not. It's not about like I'm going to go here and just grow this business full scale. Right now, I'm kind of in a stage of taking the back seat, and I got profits, I got revenue coming in. Everything's going smooth. So right now, I'm kind of just tapping in and kind of seeing where I could grow and scale my business in other markets. So I'm kind of like just that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just kind of looking and seeing, testing different markets out and seeing where I want to grow. Because I eventually want to get to the point where I can get into developments and eventually hotels and stuff like that. So it has to be in the right market.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it all evolves. So I'll keep my eye on it. Where did you get this ambitiousness? Has it come from family? Has it come from friends? Has it your schooling? Where did this drive all come from? I think that's the audience will love to know.
I would say just wanting to be better than average. I mean, when I first kind of started out on this entrepreneurial journey, I kind of like, I really wanted, the nice cars, the nice jewelry, I wanted to live, stay at the nicest places. I wanted to have the best experiences in life. I didn't want to go through life just like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go on vacation once a year and plan it. No, I want to be able to take this and make it into a lifestyle. Like, so it's to the point now where my life is like a vacation. It's like a long vacation because I'm staying in these different places when I want to. I'm going where I want to when I want to. I have my business, from an operational standpoint, pretty much being managed, and I still oversee it. But so I kind of like wanted that freedom, and I knew I didn't want to work a regular job and be in the office for hours at a time, for the week. So I kind of like wanted that. So I guess that was my motivation. And then, starting off having no money and kind of going through a lot of stuff. And what that comes with not having no money, that also really drove me to say, I don't ever want to go back to this again to where I'm just having no money, not knowing what my next move is.
I assume there's been a lot of obstacles, which we all face, but it's coming out of it on the right side, and that takes a lot of courage and that takes a lot of skill. So as you just said there, you've come out of that. When you said you had some struggles, did you ever think to yourself, will I ever make it? Or did you always believe in yourself that I am going to be exactly what I want? I'm going to get exactly what I want out of life?
And that's a great question. Okay, so on the surface, yes, I've had plenty of experience where I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna make it through this. So, it was, some of the stuff was kind of, a little bit traumatizing in a way. Not like that, but just like, it was a some experiences were a lot to take in. Even as a man, I'm just like, yeah, this is a little bit much. But I think what really drove me was on the surface level. Yeah, I might have been having some, mental struggles of dealing with this stuff. But I think deep down, in a way deep down, sometimes in the back of my mind, in the back of my gut, I knew I would make it through it, and that's kind of what kept me going. Because I had some situations where it's just like, what is this even about at this point? Why am I even here? Just to be honest with you. But like I said, I think having that deep down in my gut to where I kind of just intuitively knew that I would make it through it. So that's kind of what pushed me as well.
It's great to hear. And I just thought of a question actually about the business itself. Would you consider doing apps, going international? Is that on your radar?
I actually thought about apps before. I'm not really super tech savvy. I don't know anything about code, but of course you can hire people for that. But yeah, I think a lot of these apps, they're making a lot of money. Silicon Valley is, there's a lot of money out there. So I definitely wouldn't be opposed to tapping into that market. And as far as international, we already, I had actually had a place in Dominican Republic, and I kind of was working with a guy. We had a conflict of interest, and our interests went all the way in line. So I decided to pull out of the deal. But I had that for a little while, and I'm looking at some other markets now, actually, as we speak. So international is definitely something I'm interested in.
One transformative traveling experience itself that you've had that also changed you in a way, what would it be?
Well, I would say, off the top of my head, on the fly, I would say I went to Cabo and I stayed at a real nice estate out there, which was in a community with multiple estates, and it was a huge development with resort with it was almost like a small city. And I'm thinking, like, okay, this is like owned by like some real estate investor group, which is most of these big resorts and big even these big residential buildings are owned by investors of people who invest their money and they pool money together. But I learned that it was from it was a guy and his wife who owned the entire thing, and I read his book. I'm like, okay, let me read about this guy. And he comes from the struggle. He was he didn't start out with money, so he built this thing. And just staying at this real nice resort, it just kind of inspired me. Like, this guy is no different than anybody else. I mean, if he can do it, I can at least pursue something of that nature. So that kind of like inspired me too, just getting that experience.
And away from everything, when you're not working or traveling, have you got any sort of hobbies that you like to stick to?
I like okay, so I'm into fitness. I like boxing. I boxed for a number of years.
Did you try and go professional, or was it just mainly for hobby?
Actually, supposed to have a professional fight, but I had a
Oh wow!
yeah. It didn't. I had an injury, so it didn't. But yeah, that, and then so I really like boxing. The sport. If I still practice and I still do it to stay in shape. I'm into fashion. I love fashion. I like watches, jewelry. Just pretty much, lifestyle stuff, like cars. So these are the things I'm really like into outside of like, boxing and stuff like that. So, yeah, off the top of my head, those are the things that I kind of like, really like, I like a lot. They kind of coincide with my lifestyle and my brand.
So what do you reckon of the state of boxing in the United States at this moment?
That's a hard question. So I got a story about Anthony Joshua too.
Okay.
A side story, but
yeah, go ahead, tell us.
Oh, okay. So he actually, I got a friend, Charles Martin, who actually fought him for the.
Oh yeah, Charles Martin. That was 2015.
That's my friend. Yeah, that's my guy.
Oh, amazing! He was world champion, wasn't he? He was world champion at the time.
That's Anthony Joshua got his first belt.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh wow!
Champion. Yeah, yeah. So when he fought him, and ended up, I guess he ended up getting his belt from him.
Were you at the fight? I think it was at the O2 Arena, wasn't it, in London?
I didn't go to the fight. I didn't actually go to the fight. No. I was still here in the States, but yeah. And Charles is actually doing this thing right now. I think he has a fight coming up with who is it? I think he was going back and forth with one of the other fighters on there. But he's doing this thing right now too, and yeah. So I'm really into the box. I know a lot of the heavyweights too. So
can you let people know where they can find you? Where are all your socials and whatnot?
Well, I'm mainly on I'm on Facebook, but I'm mainly on Instagram. And my personal handle is Bankman Biskit, BANKMAN Biskit BISKIT, and then my company handle is TSL Rentals, just like it sounds.
I want to thank you for coming on, Kyle. I really appreciate your time, and I will speak to you very soon.
Sounds good. I appreciate the interview.
A great insight into Kyle's business, and just a reminder of where you can get in touch with him if you are looking to rent a property. All the details are on your screen now. That's it for Take On No Shebs. Hope to see you all very soon. Until next time, bye for now.